train is coming our way.
This is Zion Train, the cruising machine.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Zion Train End Times, a program designed to assist, update us on issues of the end times, which we all have accepted in this platform, that there is a season for the end times, and we are right in that season. And Jesus is coming very soon. And the first sign that the church is expecting is the rapture of the saints. And if anyone misses the rapture, the tendency of making heaven is highly limited. So, today we are going to address certain issues that came out of the platform as we are busy updating ourselves on how and what to do not to miss the rapture. My name is Chaplain Dr. Uche Wogu. I am the captain of the Zion Train, and I have someone seated with me. Let me give him the opportunity to introduce himself while we kick off to address some issues that are so vital to the family and rapture as we are talking about. Sir, you are welcome.
Viewers, you're welcome to Zion Train Movement, End Time Issues. I am your brother Archbishop Adewodo, Professor of Systematic Theology, President, International College and Council of Bishops.
You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
In the previous edition we had about qualification for rapture, whether divorced couple are qualified for the rapture. And we are aware that in our society today, even in the Christian community, many are facing the challenge of divorce. And some are even at the verge of divorce. And someone was bringing a pathetic issue last time. I said, no, let's have it in our next program. And I'm happy the person that brought the issue is also the platform here right now seated. Let me give her opportunity to ask that question so that we can look into it. But meanwhile, I want to welcome all members and our audience, people who are highly resourceful. Please put your hands together as a sign of welcome. You are here today. Let's know whom you are and tell us, bring up that issue that you raised last time.
Yes, I have a question I say that kind of has been a concern to me that I needed to be clarified on. I talked about a man having a wife and then brought in another wife and they were putting up together. Few years after they settled, the first one died. But I now got to know that this second wife was married before and had issue with the husband and left the husband and then married this man. Then her husband, the first husband, I don't think he later married but he died. But that's when she has already remarried. And now this man that she's marrying now also lost his wife. I didn't remember to say that she was married before, just I remembered. So I'm trying to see how it can be settled within me. We're talking whose wife, whose wife is she? Then we're talking about rapture. Is she qualified for that?
Okay, if I got the couple you are talking about, all of them have lost their partners.
Yes, sir.
as at now. But before they lost their partners were living
With them.
when they joined together.
Yes, exactly.
Which
Exactly.
means the first man married a woman that didn't know the man had a wife.
No, they know
Oh, she knew,
very well.
and she left her husband and married this man.
Yes, it's like she has already left her husband, before she met the present husband.
Were they formally divorced or they separated?
I don't think they were formally divorced.
They
So it's just they separated.
and she married another man.
Yes.
And coming in, the wife of that man now died,
Yes, sir.
and she's replacing the dead woman
And she
as
too,
a wife.
the former
And
husband.
also her own husband is also late.
Yes.
Are they qualified
Yes, sir.
to live together as husband and wife? If then this parameter, can they really make heaven qualifying for the rapture? And now the grace is here at the Archbishop, Professor of Systematic Theology.
The question the sister, the evangelist raised is a very typical case, but a simple one. It's not even complex. In the legalism of so many countries, and in the biblical community, I'm going to take the two immediately. In the legalism, if the husband, this lady now, after separating, let me use the least way of divorce is separation. After separating with the first husband, remarried to another man polygamously, while the first wife existed. And in the legal system of Nigeria, if that man gave the first woman a marriage act, by virtue of that marriage act is vitiated. So the second wife becomes the legal wife in the act of today. Now, if you come to the biblical world, the issue of marriage is the issue of divorce is a delicate case. The way pastors preach it is not exactly how it is, and the references for which Christ revisited it. The man, let us take them to be Christians now, to be born again Christians. Let's take them to be born again Christians. At the time, it was cohabiting with the first wife, and the first wife accepted the second wife, accepted in good faith the second wife, because the issue of marriage is decided, the issue of polygamy is decided by the woman biblically. If the second wife you are bringing is bringing injury to the first wife, God begins to be involved. The case of Sarah and Abraham is here. Why, when Sarah gave Abraham Hagar, there was no spiritual defilement. But when the second wife, Hagar, began to insult the legitimate wife, God was aggrieved. God came in and decided to ask Abraham to put her away. So if the first wife accepts the second wife, biblically, no matter how a pastor wants to preach it so that he looks holy, there is no spiritual defilement. There is no spiritual defilement. What Professor Ariwono having said so. Otherwise, you'll be putting God into danger. You cannot become more Catholic than Bishop, than the Pope. God of decided it because the first wife is injured. So if the first wife accepted in the Christian fold the good habitation with the second wife is coming legally, lawfully, spiritually. Now, if the first husband of the woman is still interested in the woman, then her remarriage is questionable. If the first husband that married her, he still came back to say, "Give me back my wife." At this point, it becomes a spiritual matter. Take it up, take it down. In the mystery, in apostolic mystery, that man, that woman is in trouble. That very day, the first husband came to ask for her return. Her stay in that house is divorced spiritually, because she's still answerable to the first husband until that husband had accepted divorce.
Excuse me, sir. Let's clarify this. The second wife, were they legally married? Give us an update.
I'm assuming that they are lawfully married.
Yes. Lawfully married.
Yes, traditional, customary. They are lawful. They have engaged lawfully. Okay. We are looking at, no matter what the situation might be, let's put it on the legal form.
Okay, sir. Sorry. Do anybody has any questions so that he will be addressing those things right now? So far, we have gone on getting issue. They are legally married traditionally. The first wife accepted the second one coming in.
Alive. No, he says dead, because that's the different thing. If he had been alive, does Christianity allow polygamy? Because that's what that is now.
Thank you very much.
And also in law, we talk about bigamy.
Yes.
Which is where a man is married lawfully and then gets another wife. Is it allowed?
Good. Over 200 cases. 70% of them all came from pastors. The captain can bear me witness. But here, let me just tell you, the early charismatic fragmentation of Christian faith, that is what we call as the Pentecostals, came up with so many doctrines to set themselves apart away from the Orthodox system. In marriage, they were looking at the point. What Christ said in Luke, if your finger will make you commit sin, cut it off. And then they decided to make it precise. Culturally, polygamy is allowed. Customary marriage allows approved more than one wife lawfully. Now, the English system approves one wife. The English Christian system approves one wife. And if you must marry another, you will divorce the first. That's what the English legal system provides. And you do not commit bigamy except you are married by act. Any marriage, if you contract marriage by act, then you cannot marry another until you cancel the act. There is marriage by ordinance, there is marriage by act. And churches today stand and wait people without even knowing where they stand. There are few churches that have the right to conduct marriages approved by government, and as soon as they conduct it, it is marriage by act. The Catholic Church, the Orthodox Church, the other churches, I can tell you, including my own church, if I conduct a marriage now, it's by act. Now, and some other churches. But a lot of other churches do not know that there is another license that you require to conduct marriages in your local churches. And when marriages are conducted there, you don't issue out your normal certificate, you issue out the Marriage Act certificate. And it means that for that case to be divorced, magistrate court loses its jurisdiction over it. Customary court loses its jurisdiction over it. The only court that can decide on it is the High Court, because that is marriage by act. That is where bigamy comes in if you don't go to negate that certificate. However, when we come to this other point, in the church, we don't talk about bigamy. We talk about one man with one wife. We don't promote bigamy. We don't promote polygamy. Now, but when we do these things, are they really correct doctrine or dogma? There was one of us who was relating theology as a wrong thing. No, theology gives you extended knowledge for you to know how you shape your mouth when you want to build in your own feelings into the scripture. And we call it exegesis. So here, the scripture, if you look the case of Genesis, if you go to Genesis 4:21, where God asked Abraham to put away the second wife. He didn't ask Abraham to put away the second wife because he married second wife. And the marriage of Hagar did not tamper the apostolic faith stand of great Abraham, whose faith we have not ventured. Praise the Lord. I would have loved to have part 2 of it so that I can continue with this.
Thank you so much. Yes. Want to hear? There's someone watching.
I want to part with that.
And want to know this couple. One left her husband and married another man who was already married, and she came in, and these are Christians.
No, they separated. He didn't leave the husband, according to the story.
Yeah.
They were living apart before the second marriage.
But she left the husband.
He didn't leave.
Now, coming on that, we're talking about rapture. If somebody is married to 2 wives, will he be raptured? If you look at the book of Acts of Apostles, chapter 17, verse 30, it says, all the days of our ignorance, God has overlooked. So whatever that happens in the Old Testament about Abraham, Jacob, and all of them who married, it has been overlooked. Jesus came and gave a point. It is meant for one man and one woman. And the Bible, Timothy said, as a bishop, as a deacon, you'll be husband of one wife. So I would like us to understand, because this Zion Trend movement is a Christian forum. Another, bodies are looking at us. If somebody is married to 2 wives, he cannot be raptured. But if somebody is divorced and stayed unmarried, he will be raptured.
To correct our personal aspirations, we stay and think what God will be. That was exactly what happened to Elihu in Job 42 verse 6, 7 and 8. Elihu blamed, exonerated God that he was not involved in the calamity of Job.